G'day guys, Mac with the Outer Circle, and today we're looking at the latest Horus Heresy short expansion. This one is all about the World Eaters and the Battle of Amatura. An interesting choice because it actually involved three forces: the Ultramarines, the World Eaters, and the Word Bearers. But in any case, we get just the World Eaters in this supplement, really. But that's okay because, well, this is a cool little unit. First of all, the conversions for the squad. I'll use conversions very loosely because they're not really converted. These are just stock destroyers with a few. Swap out the twin pistols for a couple of other weapons along the way. But a lovely paint job. I really like it. In fact, let's zoom in on them. No, can't even zoom in on that paint. That's disappointing. No, I really like it. So let's talk about the unit themselves. The Red Hand Destroyer Assault Squad. Bit of a stupid name. The Red Hand Destroyer Squad is perfectly fine, or Red Hand Assault Squad, but being the Red Hand Destroyer Assault Swiss Army Knife Techno Barbarian Assault Squad doesn't have quite the same ring to it. But we're arguing semantics here. 115 points. So let's compare them to this FAQ. The destroyers in the FAQ, which came out in February of 2019, like all good up-to-date things. At the back here, we have Legion destroyers. So also 115 points. So I have an idea. I can show you it like this, hopefully. And this, if I do it right, you get to look at the stats of both units. So, both 115 points. Weps 4, BS 4, so all the stats same across the board. Same amount of attacks, same leadership, same save. Basic squad composition, 4 guys and a sergeant. They have the infantry rule, infantry character, 2 bolt pistols, chainsword or combat blade, frag, crack, and rad grenades for both units. They've both got hardened armor, both got counter-attack, but they of course have the Legiones Astartes World Eaters, which the Legion Destroyer Squad would get, and Bearers of the Blood Hand and Ravaging Assault. Alright, transport. Regular destroyers may choose a Rhino or Land Raider Proteus dedicated transport. These guys may choose a Rhino or a Proteus as dedicated transport. So, very, very similar so far. No changes really, apart from those 3 special rules. So, moving further down the list, what upgrades have we got? 15 points for additional models, 25 points for melter bombs for the whole squad, 5 points for jump packs per model. And if they do so, may not take a dedicated transport. It says for the Legion Destroyers, specifically says they may not take a dedicated transport. For the World Eaters, it doesn't have that provision. So, they could still take a dedicated transport. So if you took a Rite of War that unlocked dedicated transports for, something like Storm Eagles for all infantry or something like that, then there's nothing stopping them from being able to utilize it if Assault Squad models with jump packs are allowed to go into it. Okay, so regular destroyers may swap out their weapons for a missile launcher with suspensor web and rad missiles and no other weapon type, a hand flamer, or a plasma pistol. On the World Eaters, it's the same price for a missile launcher, and the squad can go up to 15 models. That's interesting, which means they can take up to 3 rad missile launchers in the unit, which is pretty strong. They don't get the plasma pistol options, and they don't get the hand flamer options. I don't really think that either of those options is super popular. Plasma pistols I have seen upgraded to fusion pistols before, in some armies where they then use destroyers to, pop vehicles. Can be done. Not very popular at all, however. Then we have the big difference here, which seems to be that the Blood Bonded character, actually we won't do the Blood Bonded, we'll just look at the regular. Any Ravager may exchange their Chainsword or Combat Blade for a Meteor Hammer, Excoriated Chain Axe, Twin Fell Blades, or a Barb Hooklash. Now, the Excoriated Chain Axe is very expensive at plus 10 points. If you have that on 10 guys, that's going to add up real quick. But 2 points for Meteor Hammers, Twin Fell Blades, Barb Hooklash, that's good value. That's really good value. That's the sort of points those things should be as upgrades in general for World Eaters. This squad is just flat out better than Rampages, I reckon. Not sure why the Excoriated Chain Axe is so expensive, though. And, I mean, compare that to regular destroyers. Oof, just infinitely better. The thing is, as well, nobody's taking a Chainsword or Combat Blade because you get Chain Axes for free, which means Red Hand Destroyer Assault Squads, they're pretty brutal on the charge. I mean, regular Legion Destroyers are as well, because you're going to get 2 attacks because of the Rage on Traitor World Eaters, which means you're going to have 4 attacks, 5 on the charge. If the weapons aren't included in the profile, you go up to 6 on the charge, and it's going to be at Strength 5 thanks to the Chain Axes, and you're going to knock your enemies down by -1 toughness thanks to your Rad Grenades. So you're going to wound Thalax on 3s, you're going to wound Castellax on 5s, you're going to wound Thanatar on 6s, you're going to wound Marines on 2s, and if you go for the Carteret weapons, like the Meteor Hammer or the Barb Hooklash, yeah, this is potentially pretty strong. This is potentially really strong. Twin Fell Blades, or Fellax Blades. I think it's pronounced Fell Blades, but who knows? Yeah, Carteret weapons. Interesting to note, though, the Blood Bonded, which is the sort of sergeant of the squad, doesn't have the option to take Carteret weapons. They are specifically for the Ravagers, which is the standard infantry in the squad. So, he does have the option of all the same war gear, and the infantry themselves, if they don't take a missile launcher, they could take a Thunderhammer. Very odd choice of weapon for 1 in 5, that they can take a Thunderhammer. And for plus 20 points, I don't know that that's worth it. I think even just a Power Fist on the Sergeant is plenty. Take a couple of Excoriated Chain Axes. You still can keep the missile launchers with Rad Missiles, and that's the big reason you take Destroyers. Rad Missiles fucking rock. Artificer Armor for both Sergeants. Phosphex Bombs. As standard. Okay, so clearly better for the World Eaters to take these boys over regular Legion Destroyers. The other thing they get is these 3 special rules. Legionnaires Astartes doesn't count, I guess, but the Bearers of the Blood Hand and Ravaging Assault. So, Bearers of the Blood Hand. All models in the detachment must declare a charge if able when they begin their assault phase within 12 inches of an enemy unit. If there is more than one eligible target, the controlling player chooses the target of any charges made. Note that this does not allow models with this special rule to charge a different unit to the one they made a shooting attack against in the previous shooting phase. So, very interesting there, because you could target a unit that's over 12 inches away, not going to be good with your bolt pistols, or in fact, yeah, you'd probably be using Rad Missiles or something to shoot an enemy unit in order to ignore the one you're right next to, so you don't have to charge them, because if you're declaring charges at, over 7-8 inches range, and you don't have a jump pack, or you use your jump pack in the movement phase, you're very likely to fail the charge, and you're going to cop an Overwatch on the way in. Not ideal. And some armies, like Salamanders, will punish you on that Overwatch if they've got a lot of flamers. The Ravaging Assault is their other special rule. On a turn in which they have charged, the unit with this special rule gains a bonus of +1 to the amount of wounds inflicted when determining who has won combat. Additionally, they gain a bonus of +1 to the result of any sweeping advance roll they make in a combat where they are on the winning side. These bonuses do not stack with other rules that increase the amount of wounds inflicted when calculating who won a combat and the result of a sweeping advance roll. I don't think that the rules really add anything to them. I think that Bearers of the Blood Hand could potentially get them into bad situations, like declaring charges against things that aren't ready to be charged. But for the same price as a stock Legion Destroyer squad, this is pretty much a flat upgrade over that squad. So pretty damn cool. Very thematic. I think I prefer more units like this in my Horus Heresy forces. I don't want to see Weapon Skill 5 Terminator Squad number 47634, which is kind of what we've got in the last few of these expansions. Destroyers are definitely an improvement over yet another Weapon Skill 5 Terminator Squad. I do like that they've got cutter weapons. I think it works really well for the World Eaters, especially because they have these options of all this different war gear. But a unit like this for another Legion would not work well at all. It would not work well at all, because most Legions don't have this variety of gear. You couldn't do a unit like this for, say, the Space Wolves, because, frost weapons, and they've got their own Destroyer squad already. But someone like the Salamanders or the Raven Guard, those Istvan Legions, they really need to be looked after. Those Istvan Loyalists especially need some specialist units. So, Forge World, if you're listening, and I know you do them next. Write some rules for Salamanders, Iron Hands, Raven Guard. Raven Guard invented Moritats and basically improved on Destroyers with their own tactics, which the other Legions copied. They're a great candidate for a Destroyer unit. Iron Hands, I've suggested some special units I think of in the past, like Gorgon Pattern Dreadnought. I thought was a really cool idea. Graviton Gun Arms on Deredeo. Lots of stuff you could do. Anyway, I like it. Mac with the Outer Circle. Thank you all for watching. We will return you to your regular programming sometime this week. And I'll see you all in the next one.